to the Becoming You show with me, your host, Leah Rowling. Do you believe you are capable of choosing your future? Sometimes it takes just one person to believe in you, or you to believe in yourself. If you find yourself continuing to say, someday I will take better care of myself, only to continue living the same day over and over and over again, then you, my friend, are in the right place. I am your biggest cheerleader, inspiring you to become you on purpose and with intention. Are you ready to create a life you love? I'm excited to share with you some big ideas that you can use today to inspire, impact, and influence your life and everyone in it. The Becoming You show starts now. Hello, my friends. How are you? How are you? Welcome to the podcast. In particular, welcome to this podcast. If you are new, welcome. I love having you here. It's interesting. I'm re-recording this because for whatever reason, I was just chatting with my producer. For whatever reason, it didn't record. And I think it's because I was a little too spicy when I was recording it. So I may or may not be spicy today, but if you're new here, welcome. And if you've been listening in for a while, I love that you're here. I love that you're listening to me. I love that you tell me that you're listening to me on your way to run errands, on your way to work, as you're cleaning the kitchen, as you're doing your workout, wherever it is that you're listening to this. I just so appreciate it. I am really excited and I'll just say obsessed with the conversation that we are going to have today. I am particularly drawn to the invitation, right, that I'm going to be making in this conversation, and deeply grateful for a few of the wake-up calls that I have been getting over the last couple of weeks in particular. For those that don't know me or the work that I do, I'm a high performance coach. I'm an author. I'm a creator. I'm a speaker. I do trainings. I do workshops. I facilitate conversations around professional and personal growth. But I would say more importantly than any of that is I am a life coach, right? And I think I've said this before on podcasts, but when people are like, you should say you're more like an executive coach, or you're a leadership coach, or you're a high performance coach, because the life coaches, and I'm like, is what? Like, what is more important than our life? What is more important than living our life all out in the biggest possible way? We only get one of them. So I can't imagine anything more important than being a life coach. And for me, the wake up in particular has been to invite people that are feeling stuck, right? By way of feeling uneasy or unhappy or unfulfilled, to invite them to find themselves so that they can expand. Because the reason that you feel stuck, friends, listen to me. The reason you feel stuck, if you do, is because you have outgrown the room. There's nothing wrong with you. Feeling stuck is a gift that you get to open up. This is the invitation to you. You have outgrown your space, the job, the relationships, the possessions, and you're ready to do the work of finding yourself, the work of tapping into what we've been calling the leader within, right? So that you can be free to have your impact, to go influence, to go inspire. And if there's a restlessness that you feel that makes you kind of feel stuck, like the conversation that we're having, it's because you deserve a great life. And what I'm suggesting is that you're just settling for good. And I know this because I was there. And it's time. It's why I labeled this podcast episode, It's Time. Period. There was no like subtext after it. It's like, it's time. It's not someday. It's not. It's not when your children are gone. It's not when things are more settled in your marriage. It's not after you get the promotion. It's not when things slow down. The time is now, right? And this conversation is going to be about convincing you of that. And in order to do so, in efforting to do so, I want to share with you a few strategies that my mentors and my coaching have helped in helping me support choosing me, choosing your path, choosing your passion, your purpose, and to stop second guessing, to stop negotiating, and to stop sabotaging yourself. Because this is what I think. I suspect that if you listen to this podcast, if you're hearing me talk right now, right, it's because you care. You care tremendously about your life. And not just your life. You care tremendously about getting better in all aspects of it. And you welcome the challenge of growth, knowing that in every single aspect, every single area, there is an opportunity. There is an opportunity to get better at everything, whether it is in skill development, whether it's in better consistency, better efficiencies, better resilience, better mental models, right? There is nothing that we can't get better at. And you know that, and I know that. And I honor you for embracing that, for accepting that, and being like, yes, Leah, I'm in, let's go, right? Because that commitment to your growth, your personal mastery, your social mastery, I believe it's because you know deep down that both that personal mastery aspect of it and that social aspect of the mastery, both are required to lead. So I want to start off by suggesting some strategies. But before we do that, right? Before we even do that, I want you to consider, right, that creating something great with your life is how we have a great life, right? You have a great life by doing something great with it. We collect results over regrets. And we're going to dig into these strategies. But before we do, we have to know what those results are, right? What winning means to you. What is it that truly sets your hair on fire? And it doesn't have to be something grandiose. It can just be what you choose, because having clarity on what success means, what winning means, is paramount. And I think too many people are just task oriented, and tasks are good, but tasks are great. And remember, this is a conversation about having a great life, which means we have to elevate our tasks to great goals, to goals and results that are scary, goals that seem impossible, goals that align with what winning looks like, what winning feels like. So is it money? Is it impact? Is it contribution? Is it memories? Is it experiences? Is it just to feel amazing? Is it just to feel something? Is it to feel free and truly autonomous and authentic in your day-to-day interactions? And friends, it doesn't matter what it is. It only matters that you know what it is. And I think too many people go through their life not knowing what a great life would look like, feel like. And so they regretfully settle for good. So getting clear on the distinction between living a good life and living a great life, I'm going to say, is everything in your life. So know for yourself, what would a great life look like, feel like? Not the life that others want you to live, but the one that you choose to live, okay? So when we think about strategies to bring forward, right, that vision of what that great life is, the first thing that is required is that you have to believe that you are deserving of it. I'm doing a framework of D's today, okay? But The first D is that you are deserving of it. If you don't believe that, no other strategy will work. You will negotiate and make excuses as to why living a good life is good enough. I mean, how dare us want more when there are so many people wanting what you have? How dare us dream for more when there are people that are starving without food, without shelter, without access to medical support and care? How dare I not be grateful for this good life? How selfish to desire a better life when ours is good enough. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm telling you, if I had $1 for every time my daring kept me small, and I've worked with enough clients where their daring kept them small, and I'll ask you this question here: is your daring keeping you small? And here is how I had to reconcile the dare in my mind. First, if you want more, if there is a desire, if there is a nudge, a calling, that there might be more for you in this life, it's selfish. It's selfish not to go after it. It is. Here's why. If you're concerned, right, for the people that are starving without food, without shelter, without access to medical support, right? Don't you think that you could inspire and impact more change, more transformation, right? More food, more shelter, more support, if you continue to better your position to do just that, right? And if this is not what you're being called into, right? And you don't have to be, but then it can't be your excuse as to why it is that you can't want for more, right? Your dreams, my friends, do not take away from other people's dreams. They enhance it, they motivate it, they inspire it. Did you know that you can be grateful in this life and still want more? Gratitude is not constrained. I actually believe that gratitude is required as you dare for me. And I know for me, all of this chatter, right, left me feeling as if I wasn't deserving for more in my life. I was wrong. I was wrong about that. And if you feel like this, you're wrong as well. And again, I say this with all the love in the world, because sometimes it takes someone to believe in that for you to believe in that for yourself. And for me, that was my mom. For me, I can't even tell you, and I know I've said this many times on the podcast, that I just allowed everyone else to matter more than me. It wasn't my time. It wasn't it. And so I just find all of my existence away. And she called me out on it. Who is it for you? Who called you up? Who called you up and asked you to dream again? Was it a coach? Was it a teacher? Was it a parent? Was it a caretaker? Was it a grandparent? Was it a neighbor? Who was it? And maybe if you do today, if you think about them, maybe you reach out to them and you thank them for calling you up, for believing in you. And then you know what you do? You start honoring them by believing in yourself. They saw something awesome. They saw something great in you. They were not wrong. They saw it for a reason. And if no one in your life has called you up on your greatness, let it be me. I recommit to this work every single day. This work on calling you up. It is how I honor my mom, who was so bold and so courageous to call me up. Let me be the belief that you need to believe in your own awesomeness, for the belief that you are deserving of great and you don't need a good reason. You just get to want it. And then you get to commit to doing the things that are required to win, right? You know what they are. This is not a conversation around what they are. You know what they are. You just need to give yourself permission and this this idea, this belief that you're deserving of them and just go do them already, right? It has got to start with believing in you, okay? And when you no longer need my belief or whomever's, then you know what, you guys? Something really, really cool happens. Are you ready? You start paying forward your belief to other people. That's what happened with me. My mom borrowed her belief. I borrowed it. I still borrow it. But it gave me the courage and the conviction and the deservedness to believe in it for myself. And now I get to pay that forward. And then you become an example of what's possible. You give other people the permission to believe that they too can have a great life, that they too can expand past their own limitations, that they can unstuck themselves by recognizing that they too have outgrown their space, right? The self-imposed shackle of mediocrity, right? All under the guise of good is good enough. I'm calling it out. It isn't. Good is not good enough if you want more. Now, if you don't feel stuck and you feel very empowered and courageous and confident in your good life, awesome. Stay there. I love it. But if you're called for a better life in any way that you define that, don't hide it under the guise that you're not worthy of it. You're not deserving of it. Other people deserve more. Other people have it worse. We have to stop that nonsense. Okay? So now that you have the belief, right? And you're setting your eyes on being a belief maker for others, right? This isn't just our own work to do, right? We're all interconnected energetically, right? So your dreams can then be the dreams of other people. We've got to know that. Otherwise, we will lose our why in the what we might think is selfish. Okay? So we've got the deservedness piece down. Okay? You don't have it, borrow my belief in you. Now, there's a concept of demand. This is the second D that I want to kind of have a conversation around. And I know many people don't like it. And I don't care. I used to care. I used to tiptoe around the conversation. I mean, Leah, we can't demand more of others, right? There's already so much on their plates. Life is busy. Life is overwhelming. People are tired. People are burned out. Leah, you couldn't dare. People can't handle it. And you know what I think? You know what I think people can't handle? The lack of care and respect that demanding invites. I think it is incredibly disrespectful of me to think that people can't take on more, that they can't grow in their personal mastery, that they can't develop skills and practices around competencies and competence and courage and consistency, and also grow in their social mastery with communication and contribution and compassion and curiosity, grow as a leader. And by the way, these are all concepts, personal mastery, social mastery, these are all concepts that we're going to be digging in deep in our year-long program and experience within the Leader Within. Talk about living into and creating a great life. You are all deserving of joining us in defining it, creating it, and demanding it for yourself. And when you can do that for yourself, you can do that for others. So that was a side note. So if you want to know more information about the Leader Within, the experience, the year-long personal mastery, social mastery, to really integrate in these tools, these skills, these competencies, check out the link in the show notes. But the other thing that I wanted to kind of talk about with regards to not demanding of others, right? Or not even demanding that of ourselves is this notion that people can't handle it because so many people are overwhelmed and so many people are in burnout, right? But you know what I think about overwhelm and burnout? And again, it's not conventional and it's okay. I think I said this yesterday too, but It's my podcast and I can say what I want. So I'm going to. I believe that most overwhelm and burnout come because we're not winning, because we're not winning in our own way. We are not aligning ourselves with our dreams. We are not filling up our calendar in what fills us up. And we are settling for good when we really should be demanding great. And here's the thing, demanding of others in the way that I teach it is the most respectful thing you can do. Inviting them into their capabilities is the most caring thing you can do. And yet too many of us care more about offending them than elevating them. We haven't learned how to call up versus call out. And without knowing this, well, it's quite probable that you'll offend, right? So when was the last time that you demanded just a little bit more of yourself? And here is the thing. There's nothing that I demand of anyone that I'm not demanding of for myself. I demand a lot for myself. I demand a lot for myself. I demand a lot from my team. I demand a lot from my kids. I demand a lot from the people that I love, not because I think that they're not enough. No, it's because I think that they're not even stepping into the level of their enough. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? Because I will always challenge the people that I love and the people that are in my community, and you, listener, that there's another level. There's another level for you. And I don't want you to miss it. I don't want you to miss it. So there lies the demand. It's not because I am shaming you. It's not because I don't think that you're worthy, that you're lovable, that you're, it's because I see in a capacity, in a potential that you don't. That is what I mean by demand. So the third D that is required, strategy, if you will, that invites us to live into a great life is discipline. Probably not a shock to you that I'm going to offer that up, but discipline is a practice of honoring your habits, right? Knowing what winning requires and prioritizing the practices of creating results in your life. That's what it is. Look, I'm guessing most of you know what you want. You have defined what a great life would look like, would feel like, right? But knowing will not change anything unless you lock into the discipline and the consistency of executing on the fundamentals. Look, most of us, what we want most in our life, it's not fancy. It is fundamentals. We have to be willing to do what so many won't so that we can have what so few do. But this is the challenge today. You ready? I want to change that, right? I don't want great to be abnormal. I don't want great to be what so few have. I want great to be what every single human being on the planet has, because I truly believe that when you tap into that, when you tap into the best of who you are and you take that best into the world, that is the prerequisite. That is the path. That is the way to having a great life. That is the definition of doing something great with your life. That is what we are being asked to do at birth. You, there's one and only you, right? Be willing to explore what you love. Be courageous enough to put that into the world as big as possible in whatever way that looks like for you. Anything other than that will just be good. It'll just be good enough. And that will be intolerable. So what are the habits that you know you have to be more disciplined around? It's easy to have discipline when it's easy. This is why we need habits. Habits allows us to follow through and commit when it isn't easy, no matter what. Your great life is not negotiable. Okay? And the last one is delegation. This one is huge. I'm not talking about delegating to others, although if you know you need to do that to stay disciplined, please do so. Because I truly believe that a lack of delegation is purely just a distraction technique so you can avoid the discipline. Okay? So delegate what you need to stay focused on keeping disciplined, on keeping the main thing. No more squirrels, no more unicorns, no more rainbows. Consistent, focused, disciplined effort. That is what a great life requires. And the type of delegation that I'm talking about with this is self-delegation. We are going to personally delegate and take responsibility for every single experience we get to navigate. We are not going to slow down the pace of our life by blaming our emotions on other people. We are not going to stay knocked down for longer than necessary when situations and circumstances happen, because they will. Self-delegation is expecting it. It's honoring the fight, and it's getting back up. Minimizing not our experience of it, right? We got to minimize the indulgence in it, right? We got work to do, friends. Very important work that only you can do. You know it, I know it. Now we just get to work. We have to get to work to integrate that knowing into action, deciding right now that you're first deserving to want a great life. That secondly, you're going to demand a better one for yourself, right? Wherever you are, what would just a little better look like? And then you're going to embrace the discipline required to bring the fullness of you to this world, and then delegate the responsibility of your life to you. That's it. That's what this is required. Okay. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I know I was a little feisty. And if you know someone that is living anything other than a great life when you know they deserve great, would you pass this along to them? Right? And if you want to take your life from good to great, I want you to check out the Leader Within experience. You deserve to dedicate a year to you. It is not selfish. It is the most selfless thing you can do. It is the most thing that you can do, not only for yourself, but for every single person that you get to love and that you get to lead and that you get to live this life with. And lastly, if you are already creating a great life, what's the next level of great for you? You're not done yet. You're not. There's another level of impact. There's another level of generosity, of contribution, of legacy creation. What is it for you? It is time. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to the Becoming You show with me, your host, Leah Rolling, where I share big ideas to inspire, impact, and influence your life. Tune in every Friday at 11 Central on transformationtalkradio.com for your morning cup of coffee, the hug you never want to end, and that inspirational message that you felt was written just for you. Each show is inspiring you to become you with purpose and intention. For more information or to connect with me, visit www.leahrolling.com.